Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our brother, and this is the translation of the message that he sent to me. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nash, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? Please do not share my numbers with anyone. So I was a thief, even from primary school. I was always a thief. I would even steal from my other classmates. I think the day that I graduated as a thief, it was the day that I discovered that in the admin block at our school, that was where in those days they used to keep the money. Whenever we would be told to make any donations to school, there was this other very small office. That was where they had the safe which they kept the money. So when you would come to school and pay up the school fees, they will not go with the money straight to the bank same time. They'll put the money there first. So when I discovered that all the money that we were donating and the fees that we were paying, they were keeping it in that room, I then thought of a plan of returning back to school. I then returned back to school. This was late at night. Brother Nashi, I was alone. And then I managed to sneak into that room and I stole the money. So when I was returning back from school, you know, when the devil wants to make you to meet people that are going to mess up your life, he will always hook up you to those type of people. I was walking back home. This was like late at night. I think it was somewhere past midnight, and I was scared with all the money that I had in my pocket. Then two guys just came out of nowhere, and these guys, they were thieves as well. They started searching me and they found a lot of money. They asked me and they said, "You small boy, where did you get this money from?" And I told them that I had stolen the money from my school. They started to ask me a lot of questions like, what made you to think of stealing at such a young age? And I told them that I had a girlfriend and I wanted to take my girlfriend to this place that is called Les Brown. In those days, it was quite a popular place, a nice place. So we would be chilling at the Harare Botanical Garden. Later on, we will go to Les Brown to swim. So I wanted to take her out and I needed some hard cash. So I told them everything and they said that we had to return back to that school. There was no security at that school. There was just this other caretaker. When we returned back to the school, then they made me to sneak into that room. We collected all the money that was in there. The guys then asked me how much was it going to cost me to take my girlfriend to town and to enjoy and come back. I told them the estimate and they gave me the money, but they just robbed me. They took the rest of the money. I then took my girlfriend out and we enjoyed, and the cash was finished. The very next day, when we came to school, there was police. During those days, they used to have those Santana, those Land Cruisers that they were using. They came to our school and they started searching everywhere. And they never suspected that any of the young kids, one of the students, will be the one who would have stolen the money. The thief was never found. From that day, I started going around those guys. They were older than I was when I was in secondary school. We nearly got caught because what we were doing, we would go around with those big cutlass, big grinders. So they had a lot of connections with guys that had scrap yards. So we will go and we will cut the tracks. Then we will load it into one of the pickup trucks. Then we will go to this other house, which was in the suburbs. So it was more like a smelting. At that house, that was where we used to melt the iron. And after we would have melted the iron, then we would cast it again to make it look like it was something else. Then we will go and sell it to the scrapyard. Everything was being done without any papers or what. We nearly got arrested, and I thought of wanting to stop what I was doing. Then I started to do shoplifting, and I used to go around with this other gang that they would target those people that will be going to the hiking spot. I was also into cables, stealing those copper cables. But when I heard that one of the guys that we were working with had gotten arrested, I got scared of the copper cables, because if they arrest you, you won't come back. And I hope that if there are any of your listeners that are dealing in copper cables, to stop doing that, because if you get caught, you will never come back. So I returned back to the guys that I was working with, because this was after I had stolen from this other OK supermarket. So they took some cooking oil and mixed it with flour, and then they started to pour the flour and the cooking oil on my body, and they made me to walk around. It was really humiliating. And when the oil and the cooking oil and the flour had gotten dry, it was so painful on my skin. They did not allow me to scratch, and they made me to sit in the sun. After they had released me, that was when I returned back to my old gang. Unfortunately, we then got arrested. But it was not because we had been caught with some of the railway tracks, no. There was one guy, this other guy, he had been to South Africa. How he had managed to get this gun, I don't even know. One day, he just took out that gun and he said that it is time now to make big money. That was when we thought of going to this other mine. It was not like a formal mine, these mines that we have in our country. We went to that mine that belonged to this other man. We had been told that there was a lot of gold there. We went to that mine with the intentions of robbing. And yes, indeed, we were able to rob that mine. The first night, we robbed some gold. Then we were told about the owner of that mine. We were told that he was a ritualist, because he had done some rituals that if you will steal for him, he will catch you before you would have used any money or anything that you would have stolen from him. We went there when the miners were fast asleep. They were just sleeping in the bushes. Then the guy, that one who had gotten his gun in South Africa, he was the one who said that he knew how to operate the gun. He just fired one shot into the air and everyone was just scared. Then we started stealing from people. We collected some emeralds and gold as well. Instead of us being satisfied with what we had, because when we looked at the gold and the emeralds mixed together, the items that we had stolen, you could take like one of those cereal bowls and you would fill one cereal bowl with the gold and the emeralds. This was enough money if we were going to sell these minerals. The gold was enough for us to be rich for the rest of our lives. But because the guy, he was a ritualist, we thought of returning back, because we were told that there was about 500 grams of gold that was still there, because we were working with this other prostitute. She was the one who was giving us the information. So we were like, gentlemen, if we go back to that mine, once we hit these 500 grams, it's over. We are rich, filthy rich. The following night, we waited and we went. When we went there, we did not even know that this was a trap. There was the support unit, they were there, but they had mixed themselves with the illegal gold miners. It was the support unit, the soldiers, and the CID, the detectives, they had mixed themselves with the illegal miners. So first of all, we went and we drank some alcohol with our prostitutes. Little did we know that the police, they were watching us. They had traced us, and that girl, the one who was giving us the information, she was also giving the information to the police. We drank the beer. Some of them, they would come and then we'll drink with them. The moment that we got out of that beer hall, as we started walking towards the mine, I think maybe that was when I should have ran away, because I saw that there was someone who was following us. So when I turned around, then that person quickly jumped into the bushes. I then told my friends, and they said that maybe I had seen a spirit or a ghost, because close to that mine, there were a lot of people that were getting killed. They said maybe it was the spirit of poverty that was making me to be scared because we were about to get rich. So Brother Nashi, we then arrived at the place where the miners were sleeping, and we just mixed ourselves with them. We slept with them. We waited until we thought that everyone was fast asleep. Yet everyone was just pretending. Everyone was just snoring. You know that type of snoring when you want to make someone to believe that you are fast asleep. Everyone was just waiting for us to act. So the moment that we got up, that was when we saw that it was over for us. Everyone just got up. The police, the soldiers with their guns, the miners, they had those long knives, the machetes, the long knives. They told us to sit down. We were beaten like no man's business. Then we were arrested. We stayed in prison. But as for me, I think I was a little bit lucky because those guys that I was working with, they're still in prison. I came out of prison looking like a skeleton because of the lack of food. When I was released from prison, I was even feeling dizzy. I was even saying, you have released me so that I can die of starvation because of hunger. I just started walking around just thinking of finding something to eat. Then I started to stay in the streets. When I was staying in the streets, that was when I met a guy, a rich guy who confessed to me that he was a blesser and there was something that he wanted to do for me. So at first I thought that he wanted me to find some girls for him, young girls, but no, he said no. I worked for that guy for a number of years. This man, these are his rituals. His rituals demands that he kidnaps mad people or homeless people. You know, they are those drug addicts that no one cares for them anymore. So we will go out late at night, catch them sleeping, drag them into one of his big cars, and we will go to his house, lock them up at his house. Especially the mad people, those were the ones that I would feel very sorry for because at his mansion, he had this other house. So each and every morning, this was what I was doing if we were not kidnapping anyone. We will go to his plot, we will get fresh cow dung each and every morning. Then I will put the cow dung in that room. Then we will throw back that mad person into that room, the mad man or the mad woman. Then the food, I'll just go and buy bread, drink, or even the soft porridge, the pap, we'll just throw it in there. No plate, no what. We'll just throw everything onto the floor. Then the person will start to eat. Then if the person was a mad person, they will just eat everything, the bread, the soft porridge mixed with the cow dung. So each and every month you had to bring in a new homeless person or a new mad woman or a madman. Then after 30 to 31 days, depending with how many days the month has, then we will load up the person. We will tie the person and cover the person with a black bag on the face so that they won't see where we are taking them to. But as for the mad people, I thought that it was just an unnecessary evil because they did not even understand what was going on. Then we will drive and we will drive. And when we would see that we have driven for so many kilometers driving out of Harare, then we will drive into the forest, deep into the forest and dump the person there, untie the person. Then we'll return back to Harare. That is what I did. Even right now, I don't even feel like I'm a normal person anymore because of what I have gone through in my life. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother, hoping that you were able to understand the translation. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world.